I thought about my students, particularly my. It's so funny because my students knew I was a lesbian, so they always thought I favored the girls. Girls are a freaking pain in the ass. I always liked the boys. I'm telling you. I'm sorry, but really. I mean, let's admit it. Teenage girls. I love you. Really, teenage girls love you. Come on, love you. The boys are better. No, they are really. Just because they. I'm not going to get into it, but it's really, they're just so much more simple and straightforward, and I just loved my boy students, but a lot of times they didn't think so because, everybody knew this and she was a lesbian, so she was like the girls were better. Myth. Lies. So this is a poem that I wrote one morning when I was on the beach and watching the waves and so forth, and watching all of it was probably just before Hannah, and there were all these waves crashing. It was beautiful, and there are all these young guys out there with their surfboards because, as you know, when a hurricane's coming through, that's the time to get out your surfboards. And I was watching them, and I was thinking about some conversations. I've got 3 former students here who I still love very much, and thought about a lot of the young men that I taught, and in English I taught literature, and just how, we would get, of course, look at the Greeks and so forth. And the Greeks had real interesting ways, ancient and beautiful ways of looking at the ocean and what the ocean was. As a matter of fact, Teddy, do you remember what they believed the ocean foam was? Do you guys remember?
Poseidon's spit.
No, but it is another body fluid, particular to men.
Hello.
Good boy.
Protein.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it's just kind of interesting. So I thought a lot about that when writing this poem, and kind of reflected on that. And this is not that I was thinking a lot about that, but it is one of the reflections in this poem. Which kind of brings us back and then into the present moment. Red gilded ocean and first morning light, wind-licked waves and foamy edges. The sandpipers moved amid seaweed morsels. Pelicans passed with low gliding gazes upon the ancient Aegean, that orgiastic sea of a lusty god. And now, here, far, on this humble beach, young boys ride these wind-licked waves, hurl into the white foamy edges, and, crushed, rise again to dare and defy the great Father that made them. That's what's happening.